Hi friends, welcome back. And in this video, we're gonna see about another interesting library called as Fixture Factory. And to understand this Fixture Factory, to understand this use case in a very good way, you need to have a prerequisite knowledge about Rest Assured and Pojo, right? This is just a very basic knowledge what a Rest Assured can do, how we can send a request using Rest Assured, how we can pass the information from the response, all those things using Rest Assured, right? These are some basic set of things that needed to understand this. Otherwise, you can also, if you just know only Pojo, that's also fine. We will this Fixture Factory going to help us to create pojos with templates. So basically, instead of directly creating an object for an pojo, we use a template. We define a template first, and then we're going to use it in our code to generate an object based on that particular template. So that's the use case. So this is official GitHub repository, and so it's going to help us to create pojos based upon certain set of rules or templates, and we're going to define the rules first, and then based on that we're going to create objects based on that. So let's see, without wasting much time, let's get into the IntelliJ, and then let's understand with the real-time example, right? So if you notice, this is the employee.json that I have thought about, and this has an ID with integer, first name as a string value, is full-time employee with a boolean of true and false, and I have an address fields which is of JSON object containing street and city, both are string types, and I also have a roles. And that's a list of string, right? So basically, we call it as JSON array. So I have almost covered all the JSON entities here. It's a very simple JSON. The use cases can be really beneficial if the JSON is even bigger than this, right? But yeah, but we'll try to understand this with a very simple example for time being, and then you can easily correlate with the bigger JSON later point of time, right? So I have actually mapped this employee JSON to an employee Pojo. So if you notice, this is the Pojo that I have created. I have certain fields indicated here, all representing fields from the employee JSON. So we have 5 fields, and we have all the 5 fields here. Again, the address is of address type, so I have also created an address class. So we all know that every JSON object needs to have its corresponding Pojo if you want to try to serialize it using Jackson annotations. We need that, right? So for that, what I have to do, I have to create set getter methods so that we can do the serialization, and I also introduce constructors. So let me press control and insert constructor using all the fields. And apart from that, I also looking for to generate getter methods. So alt and insert, I want getter methods. I don't want the setter methods, because if I keep the setter methods, my class objects will become mutable. Mutable in the sense, anyone can set some values using the setter method, so I don't want to do it. So I'm purposefully only exposing my getter methods. So the getter methods is enough to serialize and deserialize. When I mean serialize, it's converting from your Java Pojo to one JSON, and from deserialize means you converting from JSON back to your Java Pojo. So for all these things, you just need a public getter method, right? That can do the job for you. You don't need a setter method or not. Good. And in our pom.xml, I have added certain dependencies. One is Fixture Factory. That's the hero for today's topic. And we have Java Faker. If you want to generate some random first names, last name, address, all those things, you can basically use this. And you can also use this predominantly used in Rest Assured. So I also try to give an example from Rest Assured in test automation space. But wherever you are using Pojo, you can use the same concepts. And I'm also using Jackson Data Bind for the serialization to happen. So Rest Assured doesn't has its own serialization capability. So we are gonna use Jackson for that, right? Good. So I have already done this. Let's go to the apart from that, you also may need a toString method, so I can also create that. So let's also create a toString using all the fields. Yeah, and the same we'll do for a address field, right? So I have an address field, and then I also can add getter methods, and apart from that, I also need a toString, right? Good. All good. Now it's time to basically understand what is fixtures, how we can use this, right? Let's go to the runner class, right? So here, let's say the concept is I want to create an employee object. Okay, this is the ultimate goal. Okay, I want to create objects of employee class. I want to create employee objects. But the problem is Okay, in the conventional way, if we use a new employee, we you use something like this, and we pass all the IDs. First, what is this? Suppose let's say ID is 15, is FTE is basically true, and then some address, first name, whatever, testing mini bytes. And I also have address field. For that, again, I need to construct an address with some street, some street, comma Chennai. And this is a class. I need to import the class. And apart from that, I also need to pass list, right? So maybe if you are using later versions of Java, you can use list.off. Here I'm using Java 8, so I'm using a list as list. And for now, I'm just giving ABC. Okay, something like this. And based upon this, you can create your employee object. This is the conventional way of doing things, right? But the problem here is, you know, you need to make sure that you're passing the right types, and your code looks little clumsy. Okay, so what we are going to do, either you can use a builder pattern for that, that again you need to write a lot of code, or you can also use Lombok builder. But the problem is we are directly building it. Suppose I want 100 objects of this type. Okay, what I can do, so if I generate, no, I have to use a for loop, you do all the stuff. But what if there is an effective way where I can create some rules, and based upon that I want to generate an objects. Okay, most importantly, this will be really useful. The fixture objects, fixture will be really useful if you want to test each and every field. First, I want to test with a valid employee ID. Second, I want to test with invalid employee ID. Third, I want to use ID field as null. Okay, I want to do field level validation in a very big page. In that cases, this templates will be really helpful. So I want to test for first name. I not only this, I want to test with another 15 set of values. I want to do that. So how can I do this? Okay, that's when the fixture templates will help you, right? So instead of creating an employee object like this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the template first. Okay, so for this, first create a template. Okay, we're going to create a template, and based on the template, okay, we're going to create the objects. So for that, we are using fixture. So fixture is a class that is coming from your fixture factory, right? Now fixture dot, so what do you want to do? So I want to off, right? Fixture dot off, I want to create employee dot class dot add template. So now we want to create a template, right? That's why we have certain things. Okay, you can add a template with just label, or you can add a template with the rules. Okay, so now add template, and let's say this is valid. Okay, valid template, and I want to define some rules. It's a class, right? So I'm basically providing the implementation here. So here you can basically give all the rules that you want to do. So for the employee class, we have certain fields. Okay, we have these many fields. I want to, you can provide your own, logic. ID field, what value you want to set to this ID field. Okay, what value you want to set here, what value you want to set here. Okay, so basically we're going to do that. Let's go to the runner and do it. So add, so it is asking for the property and then the object values, or you can also use function. Okay, we'll see that. So the property is basically, first I want to do ID. For the ID, so if you notice, we have added a property called ID, but we need to tell what kind of value you want to store it here. Again, fixtures comes with a lot of good utilities that you don't have to write a lot of code. So for example, it has a method called as random, where you can mention what is the object set that you want to pass. If you notice, this is object three dots, which means it's an object array, right? So it's basically variable arguments, right? And then you can also define a class type, what this ID will hold, and then you can also mention the range. Okay, let's try to do this. I want to get the value of integer dot class here, and I also want to mention the range where the number should start and end. So basically, for the valid values, maybe I'll start with 100 to 1000, some values like this. And apart from that, you can also add other properties. Now we are done with the first one. So next one is first name. uh, the order doesn't matter, you just mention the property name, that's more than enough. And I want to pick some random value. I can pass the data set from which one you want to pick. I want to pick either from testing many bytes, or let's say Amudan, or let's say Udemy. Okay, you can define like this. And what else we can do? And next property is basically, so I'm going to add another new property here, that's is FTE, and this basically a random value between true or false, right? Yeah. And then I also want to add um, roles. That's basically a list of values. Again, I want to select from random, and there is something called as unique random. Again, guys, if you are having a date, then you can mention the start date and the end date, and then you can also mention the date format. So it will basically generate a date between the mentioned values, right? And also you can also before date, there is functions like before date. Before you want to create, you want to generate a date that is before a particular date, you can do that. After date, you can do that. Yeah. So you can go and explore all these things, but for now I want to generate an unique random. So there is something called as unique random. So what is that? So which means it will random will basically pick anything. Okay, it can pick any of these three values. Suppose you want to generate three times, all the three times it can also give you testing millibytes. Maybe two time it can give you testing millibytes, one time it can give amudan. But the unique random will first pick this, next this, and then next this. So it basically knows what it has previously feeded, and if not repeat until all the things are already used. Okay, so I'm using a unique random here, and then maybe arrays dot has list, and I have, let's say, tester, and I can also add one more array list, arrays dot has list, and this may be manage, something like this, right? And at the end of the day, I also want to create for address field, right? So this is basically an address. It's of address type. So uh, anything that's random, maybe I give only one here, address, and then I can give some street here, and then some city, right? So this is the template that we have created. The template basically defines what and all things it contains, and what and all the values defined for that. For example, ID will be an integer type, and the range it will generate the random value is between 100 to 1000. Again, guys, in template only we are defining. We are not writing our own logic to define a range. Again, first name I want to choose from this particular set of values. Okay, is FTE, I want to choose from this particular set of values. And again, for roles I want to choose either this or this list. Okay, address I have only one, you can also add more addresses if you want. Yeah. Now I want to generate an object of employee class based upon this template. So we are done with the creating template. Now we are going to create create an object, create an employee object using template. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So now what I can basically do is fixture dot from. Okay. Now we can mention employee dot class. I want to create an object for employee class, and it's asking, it's having a method called give me. So it's basically give me a funny name. They have given this method. Yeah. How many quantity you want and what is the label? And here, if you notice, it's a string label. So basically, I can just tell label. So this is valid template. So I want an object of an employee using this valid template. This template is basically valid. We are going to call this template using this name. Valid is the label. So I give me one of a valid template, one of an object based on this valid template. Okay, that's what we are doing. So basically, I'm introducing a new local variable, and this is of type employee. We know it is of type employee, so I can do that, and I can basically do a sysout, right? Valid. Good. Now let's try to run it and then see what's happening. I have already implemented the toString method of employee class, so it should basically define that. So if you notice 910, it generated an ID between 100 to 1000. Okay, so is FTE should be between these two, and then first name it picked the testing minibytes. It can also pick these two. Again, unique random, it picked roles as manager, so it picked this. Next time you call this, it won't pick manager, it will obviously pick this array list. Okay, and then for address, it obviously fix this, right? So suppose you also have an option if you want to generate a lot of objects, like I want 10 objects. Okay, then you can basically mention the quantity here. Okay, then it will return you a list of employee, rather an employee, it want to return you list of employee. And I will do an import of this list class, and I'm using for each and system.out.println. So I want to print all the 10 objects that were created using valid template. Okay, this is the logic. So we notice we are done with this, right? So it created 10 objects for us on a fly, right? We didn't do a lot of efforts. Only thing we did is the templates. Even if you need 100 values, it basically gives you that. Okay, so basically, if you notice the roles, first it is manager, next tester, manager, tester. So the unique random will pick a value, you know, once it picks manager, it will pick all the other values before picking the manager again. Okay, but if you see the testing menu weights, the first name, it is random value. It can pick anything. So it picked the testing menu weights twice, and then Udemy twice, and then it done like that. So it's basically the difference between the unique random and the random, right? Again, for example, the suppose you want to this address field also to be based on the template, because that is also a Pojo, right? So you can also create a fixture for that address, and then you can use it here. Okay, now we are trying to use this in our rest assured code, and so basically we will understand how we can use this in our rest assured framework. For that, I'm creating a new class, test class here. Let's name it as post employee, uh, post employees, sorry guys, post employee test, right? And here I'll introduce a new test method, that's of testing, and let's name it as a post employee test, basically using fixture. Again, you all know how to do that without using uh, fixture. You normally generate your Pojo, and then you pass it. Now to work with this, we already have done the pom.xml files, done with the pom.xml file changes. We added rest assured library. So I'm doing a static import of rest assured dot all the methods inside this rest assured class, right? And I'm using given dot I'm setting the content type for now, and the content type is basically JSON is my request body, and I'm logging all the request related information into the console. And in the body, I want to pass an employee object. For now, I'm keeping it as empty string, and I want to post it to one particular endpoint. Again, guys, I can use some real-time example, but for now, I don't want to use a real-time API. So what I have done, I have already the JSON server with me. So this is the JSON server. JSON server is again an MPO module, so you can download, install that into your machine, which will basically create a server for you, and it'll basically work like a real server. Okay, so this is the command to install, and you can follow this step. You can create a db.json file like this, and you can call this command. Okay, I have already done the two steps already, so I'm just going to do only this. Okay, so you can go to this particular location. I'm opening in the Windows terminal, and I'm typing JSON -server hyphen watch db.json. Okay, good. Once you run this, you have now a localhost 3000. You have your JSON server up and running, right? You can go to basically the Chrome and use localhost 3000, and you also go to the employee endpoint. I have already done some work, so that I already see some values here. Okay, and if you already have some ID values, if you try to insert a new ID with the value of 1, it will basically throw you 500 error. Okay, but if you create a new employee with a different ID that does not exist here, then it will not throw any error. It will send you a 201 response code, right? Let's go here, and this is the endpoint, right? So let's copy the endpoint from here and put it here, right? Once you do all these things, okay, I want the response object. With that, I can do some assertions. Basically, I use testng here. You can also use JUnit or assert J, right? I want to get the status code from the response, and I want to assert it whether it is true or not one, right? But if you want to drive this with a different set of values, right, then you need a data provider. For that, I'm introducing a data provider here, get data, and I'm creating a data provider. Basically, that will feed me employee of employee, and then int status code. It will basically feed these two input values, so I can directly assert it. Okay, and then whatever the employee they are passing, I'm gonna send it here. right? The Jackson will take care of serialization. So Jackson library that we added to the class path will take care of converting this Java Pojo to a JSON. Okay, so it will be sent. Now I want to run with different set of test data here. So what I can basically do, I can generate an employee object and feed it here. But the problem is, whatever the code that we have written in our runner class, right? It's not accessible here, right? Either you need to do a lot of tricks and do all the stuff, but there is an easy way out for this. What fixtures guys as suggested is, they are telling you, if you want to maintain a templates, okay, I have some package called as template. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a class called as employee template. Okay, whatever the logic, whatever the templates you want to generate, you can basically generate it here. Okay, let's go to the runner and copy paste this, copy it, and come to the employee template. Okay, now they are telling you implement a class. Okay, implement a class called as template loader. Okay, this template loader will have one method called as load. Okay, you need to provide the implementation for that. So it automatically takes and loads whatever the templates you are giving inside this load method. It will load it into the memory. Okay, this template loader is basically coming from your fixture factory. Okay, so I have written some logic. That template, whatever the template I have given, I have given it here. Okay, suppose I want to create more templates, you can copy it, you can paste it. This is basically invalid id. Okay, invalid id, let's name it as invalid id. And in the invalid id, if you generate anything from 1 to 3, it will basically an invalid, because this is already present. This id 1 to 3 is already present. So if you generate an id from 1 to 3, it is basically becomes an invalid template, and it will throw you 500 error response. Okay, so once you do this, okay, now you can use this in your code. Before that, let's go here, and you need to call one method. That's maybe I'll use a before setup method, and maybe I'll use before suite. And here what you have to do, fixture factory loader dot load templates. Okay, so you, if you have a lot of templates, where you are keeping all the templates, you would have keeping that in a class file, right? Mention all the class file packages. What is the packages? Okay, I want to load templates that are present in com.utils.templates package. Okay, com.utils.templates package. Okay, so what this will do, in your before suite, it will go and check for package, this particular package, and it'll load all the templates. How will find the template? So it will find based upon whether you are implementing the template loader or not. Okay, if you implement this template loader, it will load all those classes into its memory. Okay, and whenever you want, you can directly use it. Okay, here I want it, so I can directly use it here. So basically what I can tell, a fixture dot from, right, I want employee class template. Okay, give me a valid. Okay, I want valid. That's it. I introduce a new one. So this is basically an employee type. The same way I can create one more, that is invalid. Okay, invalid id. Now here this is again invalid id, and what I can basically do, I can send this. So first set of operation, I want to use valid and then 201. So if I send a valid Pojo, I will expect a 201 as response. If I send invalid ID, I will expect 500. So basically you can add more. Okay, if you want more, you can basically add more combinations to this array. Okay, two-dimensional object array. Okay, again guys, it's not like you have defined the template. Okay, it's not like you need to define all the fields. Okay, suppose you want to create 100 templates, you don't have to mention all the fields. For example, let's say if the first name I want to create for invalid first name. Okay, so basically I can copy this. Okay, and I'll remove all these things. Okay, I want to create it for invalid first name. So maybe in this use case, invalid first name. Okay, when we call the first name as invalid, because let's assume that if it is having some underscores or hyphen, we will call it as invalid. Okay, so this is basically invalid. Okay, invalid first names. If it picks any of these values, the whole thing will become invalid. But we have only defined first name. Do we have to define all the things? No. If you have a base template from which you want to take other values, then you can easily do that. Okay, to do that, basically you need to create a template and then dot inherits. There is something called as inherits. So you can basically inherit it from a base template. So base template is basically, I want to copy it from valid. Okay, that's it, guys. So I am creating a new template called as invalid first name, which inherits all the properties from here. And I'm defining one rule that I will override the existing rule of first name. Okay, so that's the only thing we do. So for other fields, it will take from the valid, and for the first name alone, it will take this. So this will also becomes a valid value now. So let's go to the post employee test, and let's also create one more. So let's keep it like this, and this is invalid f name. Okay, once you do this, introduce a new local variable. Okay, you can also put it in line, but it will become, it might not be more readable. So I'm creating like this. So maybe invalid first name. For invalid first name, again, I, for now, this is not an invalid. So basically we can expect 2 not 1 here, right? Good. um, because this server doesn't treat an first name with hyphen with as invalid. Okay, just for an example I told, you can use like this. Good. Now the same way, let's first try to run it and then see what's happening. Okay, let's see whether it is working. So basically it has to run 3 times. So if you notice, it has ran 3 times. Okay, the first, if you notice, it has generated an ID of 758. Second time it generated an ID of 1, and then third time it generated an ID of 309. And the first name is basically UD hyphen EMI. Okay, so it is working as expected. You can also see the logs. Okay, first name logs, all the logs. You can go and basically see what kind of Pojo it generated. Okay, good. So this is working absolutely fine. So what else we can do? It's not like, okay, we cannot think, okay, it can only generate values you define here. Okay, you can also use external libraries like faker. Okay, for example, I want to generate this first names. I want to generate this first name using let's say an faker library. So what I can do is basically I create a new method called as public, and I have to return an object array at the end of the day, and get first names. And here you can basically do faker. Oh, sorry guys, I need to actually create it below. This is a load method, right? So I can basically create it here. Okay, faker, and that is coming from Java faker. Okay, equal to new faker. And I also want an array list. So basically list of string and list equal to new array list. Okay, and basically I want to import this as well. And here I can run a for. Okay, for int I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus. Can basically list dot add faker dot name dot first name. I'm generating a random value using faker, and then I'm adding to this particular list. Once you're done with this, okay, at the end of the day, you can do return a list dot to array. Okay, that's it, guys. So now you can use this particular method. You can call this particular method from here. Okay, basically the testing many bytes instead of this values. Okay, want to generate a random value, that is get first names. That's it. Okay, it will basically call this method, generate the random values, and it will use it in this code. Okay, you can also run it, and before running it, you can also give a data provider parallel equal to true, which means all these things will run in parallel, so I could save some time. Okay, so it's running in parallel, all the 3 tests, and all of them got passed. And if you notice, the first name that is generated here is basically Jennifer. Okay, okay, so that is actually coming from your Faker library. So this Jennifer is basically coming from your Faker library. This is not some value that we have hard coded. Okay, so that's the beauty about Fixture Factory. You can do a lot of things. The same way for the address also, you can create your own template and then you can use it. So for example, you can create a new template for address. So address template, and then it has to implement uh, template loader. Once you implement, you have to provide the implementation here. So for the address, there is only two fields. So what you can do, fixture dot of address dot class. Okay, address dot class, where this address is from. This address is basically from, yeah, this is an address. Yeah, address dot class dot add template, maybe valid, and then new rule. Okay, I want to define a new rule. Okay, here I'm adding a street. The street name is basically some street, or I want to define it random value. And again, street name also you can generate using Faker, but for now I'm giving some street here, and ABCD street. Okay, it will generate from here. And also you can also generate city. The city is basically from random value of let's say uh, Chennai, comma Bangalore. Okay, this is what we want. Once you do this, you can also use this in your employee template as well. So if I go here, I can basically use this here. Okay, what I can do is fixture dot from address dot class. Okay, dot give me a valid template of address. Okay, once you generate this, it's basically of address type, and you can use this here. Okay, either you can use that random value of that, or you can use this. Yeah, it will either use this value or whatever we generated from the fixture, anything. Okay, do like this, and then you can use it in your code, right? So this is what the advantage of using Fixture Factory. So to give a high level summary, so previously we spent a lot of efforts in understanding or creating an employee Pojo, but now we have a template. Based upon that template, we can create a new templates. You can inherit the template and then override with a new rule, and then you can just simply return them. Okay, in an object array, so that your test method looks very clean. Your data provider also looks much clean. Okay, previously if you generate the employee class using Pojo or your builder patterns, your data provider will become very big, okay, or very noisy. But now there is no such thing. Again, this will be really helpful if you want to validate each and every fields. For example, if you want to validate maybe different types. Okay, maybe valid id, null id, empty id, so different things. Okay, and for the same name also you want to check with the different first names. Okay, in those cases this becomes really handy. So you can also use this in your code, and then you know so anyone can understand it, right? So if you just tell give me valid, which means they know what it is. Okay, suppose you are a stud, you define a framework like this, you create all the templates, do all the hard work, you just ask your automation engineers, okay, who are beginners to automation, you just call this give me method, give the template name, it will generate it for you, so they don't make any mistakes. Okay, it's always pain to to understand what is wrong, right? But here there is no way it can go wrong. And if there is a mistake also, if you want to do some changes tomorrow, business logic changes, okay, you can directly go to the template class and then you change it. Okay, you just change it here. Okay, so it is as easy as that. Okay, you don't have to worry about your test code. So the good framework will not touch their test code. Okay, that's the very important thing. You should not, if there is a new change, you should not edit your test code. That's how it is. Okay, I hope you all have learned something new today. I'll see you in another great video. Bye.